Okay, so I'm putting my tone. And this is kind of drawing, like the Chiaroscuro drawing is something you can do where you just get a black sheet of paper and just start drawing with white. Just start drawing with white and I'm just about giving away all my charcoal. I got to order more. This is like, anybody have heard of Caravaggio? He would put out, his Renaissance, he'd put down black and then he would kind of paint in the white. Everything looked very dramatic and like it was lit by one light. I'm going to do this, I think it's a dog skull there, but I'm going to put it in so it's, I want it to fill the page. So for me, it's easiest to create a string. It's like you can actually, you've seen the little windows with strings where you can actually put a window up and you can physically see where halfway is, make like a little target. So I can kind of see how so I look at each individual part of the skull in its abstraction. Like the brain cavity is about that big, and then you see the snout start out, and it's much thinner. And then the eyes flare way out. And this is like when you start doing this is the perceptual grid line that we first started off with, where I taught it, I put it out for everybody, but I feel like it fired over everybody's head. But this is like I'm building circles, and I'm finding about like where the back of the eyes are, where the temple is, and just putting a line across so I can get the symmetry across. Find my top, find the bottom of the snout, so that I can kind of tell that the snout is about, even with this part, it's about halfway. So this is the same length as this. And like if you get into the skeleton, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to figure out the rib cage, and then there's the stomach area, and the pelvis. So the part that happens is everybody gets involved with the rib cage, and then you still got the stomach area and then the pelvis area. We're going to get into the skeleton next. We're going to get into figurative and portrait, which is, personal preference for your teacher to move away from objects and start moving into more. And I've found that like artists that can draw a portrait, their confidence in being an artist just skyrockets. If you feel like at a party you can sit down and draw somebody, all of a sudden it's like a hat trick or a party trick that, I don't know, I found it really improves. So I like to teach it because it's simple. It's pretty simple once you get a hold of it, and Okay, one of the things I find really interesting is how the shadow comes down off of this. So I'm going to play that up. And start building that right away. And you see how, like when I'm putting down these strokes, each stroke I want to have, wait, hey, whoa, I want each stroke to have meaning and purpose.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, hey, on TV, I'm recording. It's always nice to have an extrovert in the class. Is it? Okay, so here we got the so I'm looking at my lights and darks.
Yeah.
Now kick in with the kneaded eraser, and you're using your kneaded eraser as a drawing tool. It's not a scrubbing tool. You want to, like you're painting a color in there. Being recorded, you'll see it online. So I want to have the movement and the strokes, and I want to leave my strokes in there. I don't want you to blend it out and you can't see that anymore. You know, you see how I'm still stroking it in? Okay, so now I want to soften some of the edges, but I'm not scrubbing through the whole thing. I like these movement shapes. I want you to keep the loose strokes in there. And I want you to build up your lights and darks. But then what we did last week, we did the continuous line drawing, and this is where it really helps to come back and start your continuous line drawing over it. And when you're doing these hairline fractures that are in these skulls, they should you just barely have to put them in there to get them in there so you can see it. And see how, and it comes around and it kind of shows the shape. Then I'm also going to use white to come back and start building my highlights over my stroke. So I want you to keep the. I still saw, like in the last class, I still saw a lot of like scrubbing it out to try to get the whole skull the same color. And I want you to try to find the lights and darks. And then you can come back with the pointy end and start doing the semi-blind, or doing the contour line drawing, but doing it with white to put in to build your edges and your highlights. that make sense? So you're putting one technique over the other. You're doing your tones, leaving your strokes in, don't blend it, and then come back and do your work over your textures and movement. Try to remember, you want to have, this, you want to have this interesting shape, this interesting skull. And I'm drawing this from almost an abstracted level, like it's almost abstraction at this point. But I'll keep working, I'll keep going back and forth with my lights and darks. Maybe try to build like that dark shadow has like a lightness in the middle, so I can lift out. But I'm drawing with this. Like even when I'm putting the paper towel on here, I'm thinking about the direction of my stroke. I'm putting it on. And this is the other mantra that I want you to have when you're doing this. Observe, take a stroke. Observation, take a stroke. Observation, take a stroke. Observation, take a stroke. Don't let yourself get to where that you're not looking at it anymore. Take an observation and take a stroke, and then try to work your way around the piece all at once. Don't stop and work on one particular piece. Keep floating around on it. Observation, take a stroke. Look at the whole piece, take your observation, work in your stroke. And I can tell, like, my brightest points are in here and in here. So I keep wanting to brighten that up and then tone down, like lightly tone down other sections. Like just go right over it to add a tone. Just lightly put a tone over it. This is painting. This is the same exact visual exercise you're going to go with painting. It doesn't matter what colors I put onto this, as long as I keep my contrast, my values, lights and darks right. It would work. It will work as a visually pleasing drawing. So, get to this point. Observation, mantra. I almost want the whole class to say. Observation, take a stroke. Observation, take a stroke. So, when the other half of class gets here, we can do the observation, take a stroke. Observation. Okay. I'm here all week. Tip your waitresses.